Good morning. Yeah, good morning. It's gonna be 3. I am making cookie bags. I made some cookies for family and I had leftover ones, and I decided to make cookie bags to drive around Christmas morning. I spent Christmas on my own for the first time. So I was thinking about, what I was gonna do, and I was making cookies and finishing Christmas cards, holiday cards. So hopefully I'll get there by New Year's. But anyways, so I purposely made extra cookies to go drive around and find people who needed a cookie bag to just cheer them up. But that's not why I'm making the video. I'm making a video because I heard MJ's message. So it's my timeline, Christmas Eve. I heard her message Christmas Eve, which she probably recorded the 23rd. And it was really interesting what and I'll put the link below. It was Ghost of Christmas Present. I think so. And it was just really interesting because miento. It was about a twin flame reading. and what she talked about tripped me out a little bit. Just a little. Only because, so she was just reading the energy of the collective. And I wasn't going to listen to it. I really wasn't. But I was driving around, running errands, and it popped up on my phone because I was listening to something else. And it was the second time, actually, that it popped up, I think, if I remember correctly. The first time, I chose not to hear it. Second time, I did. I hope I'm not confusing it with the morning message. But anyways, it just tripped me out because what she described, coincidentally, of course, right? Some of the concepts of it, I don't even know how to start this. Okay, I think I had shared that what I'm learning to do when I listen to these messages, right, is use discernment. Knowing myself well enough to know which group of the collective that she's referring to I belong in. So which message resonates for me, right? Because that's the main concept is, take what resonates, leave the rest behind. And as I'm learning, the way things play out is also it's not how I expect. So I'm opening myself up to have things play out as they play out, right? Like just going with the flow, not really trying not to think about specific plans, specific people, just being open to the different possibilities. So she referenced a few topics or a few concepts that people were kind of getting stuck on. So a couple things came up for me as I was listening to this. One of the things that came up for me was just, it made me feel so sad. It made me feel so sad that some of what she was explaining was so extreme. And it's been a consistent theme of just how people are being perceived. And I don't know if it's maybe just her interpretation of the message that she's receiving from the energies. And so there's this sense of like, because it's coming from so many different energies that the concept of something is heightened. So for example, if she's picking up that someone is lying or maybe not telling the truth, it's a heightened heightened, I don't want to say emotion, because I don't know if it's an emotion, but just a heightened receiving response. Like it's just heightened. The way she's interpreting it is heightened. And I say this because when I pick up on what resonates for me, it's never that level of heightened for the most part. Well, I shouldn't say never. For certain parts it is. I think maybe in referencing to the things that aren't so great that she references to are not to that same level of heightened. I don't know, maybe I'm reading too much into it. There's this range of how much something resonates for you, right? Not just how much something resonates, but then how much something plays out. And so sometimes she'll use descriptive words like, oh, this person's lying. And I wonder, well, is it really a lie? Like that level of a lie? And I started thinking, I'm like, wow, it's so sad that there's so many people out there that are in those positions, right? Where there's people in their lives that are at that level of manipulation. Because, I see it. I'm not blind to the possibility, right? That there is that level of interaction, right? I work in mental health. I've worked with people who are hurt, who've had hurtful pasts. So I do believe that it's real for people. Personally, though, at this moment in time, for certain things, especially the things that are negative, I never get the sense from the people around me that it's that heightened. Or maybe they just don't show it, right? That's also a possibility. And I maybe sensed, because this happened last week too, like I sensed someone not too happy, stressed, and I asked how they were doing, and they just kind of acknowledged that I could tell that they were overwhelmed. So I just wonder if how things are being communicated and perceived, right? We always have to be mindful, one, about the discernment of what applies to you and what doesn't, knowing yourself well enough to be able to make that distinction and that difference, being open to the possibility that it's not going to play out the way we think it's going to play out, right? And then the description of the interaction may or may not be that same level of intensity. Yeah. Because for me, well, it's a little bit of both, I guess. I've had it where it's intense, but then I've also had it where it's not as intense as I thought it was going to be. But I guess that goes back to just the expectation of it, right? Long story long, the reason why I'm pointing this out is because she posted a message that resonated with me subtly, based on a conversation I had the previous, or it would have been the same day that she recorded, just posted the following day. It happened to be a conversation that I had with an individual the day that she would have received the message. So it threw me for a loop because it felt like what was being described was the interaction that I had with this person. And I was just like, that's crazy again, right? That and it's happened before. It's happened before where the night before she actually posts a message, which I've learned now that she actually records it and receives it the same day that it's happening to me. And then the following morning, it shows up she's just posting a reading that she did the previous day, but it's, for me, I'm tripped out because I'm like, I just went through that, right? And I know it's the collective. I know it's a collective, and to a certain degree, it's like all of us. Why am I sharing this? Just because I think I'm still amazed. I don't know why I'm recording this. Because maybe it hasn't happened in a while, right? I think that's probably why, because a lot of the messages have been more future oriented, like not, it had been a while where it coincided, matched with what was happening in my life in this moment. From MJ, it was more forward, future. This is what's going to happen like a month out, few months out, next year, which is different than Allie and Chris from Minnow Pond, because Allie does weekly readings for your sign and then weekend readings. Chris does also weekly readings, but he also does a daily one. Excuse me. He does a daily one. And then he noted recently that the daily one is also like, it could potentially also be a future one. It trips me out. It trips me out. Because then I'm trying to think, okay, is this I need to prepare for now, or is it something that's going to come down the road? So I want to make sure I don't forget. I think that's why she says to keep a journal for stuff. I'm just tired of keeping journals. I don't want to kill any more trees with paper. So then I thought about typing it on my phone and messages, but it's still typing so consuming. And I have a smartphone. I really like those old school phones where you would flip it and then you would get the actual keyboard and you're like, and it just seems so much faster than the way it is now. So that wasn't really working. And then I thought, oh, well, how about the movies? Not movies. Oh my gosh, I'm so tired. Not the movies. Recording myself. So I think I'm going to start recording myself as a journal entry. I won't be posting those, but just, she encouraged, what's the message? Come on, guys. It's 3:10. It's 3:10. She recommended to journal. And even in the tarot class that I'm taking, she recommends to journal what spread comes out, what message comes out, so that later down the road I can look back and kind of see, oh, it did play out this particular way, right? I'm just so tired. Excuse me. So what I decided to do was record myself whenever I had a specific thought, whether it was pertaining to, like similar to this. I guess this would technically be like a journal entry, but I wanted to have a separate, more personal journal entry when it's about specific people in my life that I just wanted to make sure I captured, so I don't forget. I don't know why I'm saying that. I'm just so tired. I can't go to sleep. Long story long. It trips me out. It trips me out every time that happens, when I'm in the moment experiencing something and then she presents on it, or not presents, but uploads the video the following morning. And she talked about how sometimes that's the timeline that I'm in, the now, it's happening now for me. And then she said, but she also has people on her channel that have been with her for years and only now like have things start coming into fruition based on when they had started. So like they had to wait for theirs to really show up. And then there's that unknown of, whoever it resonates with at a specific time that may be way later from when it initially was released, then that's what that was supposed to be. It just tripped me out. That's the message. It just tripped me out. So, yeah. part of me wants to at least find someone with my same birthday, right? Just to put a face to this idea that there's more than one May 22nd person in the world. To not feel alone, right? To get that sense of confirmation, validation. I don't know. I'm just tired. Okay, that was my last little card thing that's gonna go inside the cookie jars, or the cookie baggies.